guys, Drifter here. You probably tried to click skip ad over here about a half dozen times, but it didn't work. Well, that's because this video is about advertising being so ubiquitous in our day-to-day lives that it is absolutely inescapable. For me, it feels like the only thing certain in life anymore is death, taxes, and of course, advertising. Unless, of course, you're one of the 0.5% of viewers that have YouTube Premium, in which case you didn't see any of those ads. But for the rest of us, you're going to be getting a series of ads before every single video that you watch on YouTube, sometimes in the middle of the video. And if that's annoying, if that's a little bit too much, if it kind of breaks up your attention span too hard, you could always just go to a website and read the information you want, right? Except that there's pop-up and banner ads all over the place and auto-playing videos. Reader's Digest is a complete mess of ads. Kotaku's always trying to funnel me video games. And Yahoo Finance is more advertisements for financial products than there is actual web page to browse through and learn things. It's kind of insane. It's even worse if you're trying to find a recipe to cook for dinner. I just wanted to make some cookies or some cakes or something delicious for my wife, but there's so many advertisements on the recipe sites that there's often a button that just says skip to recipe, which is insane because the advertisements on the recipe sites are for recipes. Even if I just did a Google search, which would be normally you would think of as the respectable gateway to the sum of all human knowledge, it's about half sponsored advertisements now. So it doesn't matter if I'm looking for natural male enhancement or a new gaming monitor, most of my search results will just be paid advertisements and contain no useful information whatsoever about the quality or usefulness of the product. And that's to say nothing of the awful AI search results that may be even worse than the advertisements. Usually they're just a massive waste of our energy resources that are used to answer questions about home tech support or things that my pets can and can't eat. But sometimes... I gotta hold up. Sometimes they encourage me to eat one small rock per day to stay healthy, because you know what the doctor says, a rock a day keeps the doctor away. I don't know, like, and to think that this uses 10 times more energy than a standard Google search result. It's a colossal waste, but hey, you know what? Maybe just because Google has a bunch of ads on YouTube and there's a bunch of Google ads on websites and Google ads on Google, that doesn't mean that everything is advertising, is it? Except that it is, because even my operating system, Windows 11, feels like an operating system that was designed to deliver the maximum amount of advertisements possible. My news and recommended article feeds are almost 100% ad-driven, or at least if I click on them, they will play ads once I go to the site. Even the Start menu on Windows 11 sometimes recommend programs that you don't have and that are paid as part of an advertising scheme with Microsoft to try to sell more apps on their store. But hey, you know what? Maybe I'm being a boomer. Maybe I'm using the internet wrong. Maybe I need to go blast my brain with some cute cat videos and get stuck in a dopamine loop on TikTok. Except that I get advertisements while I'm scrolling TikTok. Some of them are very obvious for Honku Star Rail in case I need a gacha game in my life, and some of them are pretending to be normal recommended videos indistinguishable from the rest of the feed. If I wanted to scroll Instagram, it's basically the same thing, except Instagram thinks I have a sugar addiction. It's feeding me cookies and M&Ms all the time. I almost feel too embarrassed to even talk about X or whatever is left over from Twitter. Scrolling on there just gets me advertisements for crypto, steroids, gambling, and even lots of hentai. What's wild about this is that it even served me up 2 cheese pizza hentais last month that I'm pretty sure should have been illegal, but as long as they're paying that ad money to Elon, I guess anything goes over there. And that's when X isn't trying to sell you X Premium, which, by the way, still has ads. You have to upgrade to a higher tier of premium in order to avoid most of the ads on the site. And even if you already have premium, because I have premium and I'm verified, it'll already advertise you for more premium. I just wanted to get out of this new media hellscape of ad-driven content, so I decided to just go watch some regular TV. With regular TV, all I get is a series of recommended apps and shows when I turn it on, and a banner on the side trying to sell me insurance or God only knows what sort of movie I have to pay for that day. Oh, and let's not forget, every single time I try to watch content on my smart TV, it's going to play an advertisement. And even if it's not a third-party sponsored ad, even if I'm not being a plebe and I pay for the ad-free tier, the supposedly ad-free tier of almost any platform is going to play trailers promoting other stuff on the platform before the actual show even starts. Watching TV reminds me of Kurt Vonnegut's novella Harrison Bergeron, where everybody has to be handicapped down to a certain minimum standard so that life is fair, and the main character's father, who has perfectly average intelligence, is required to wear a little earpiece that blasts him with an obnoxious noise every few minutes in order to handicap him to the point of having a short attention span. And that's how I feel about watching TV these days. As a matter of fact, it made me feel so stressed out, I decided to pause the TV, only to deliver pause ads with a QR code to scan, and it hasn't been implemented yet, but Roku has patented a system to where it will play advertisements on your TV whenever you pause your console or Blu-ray player. So if you have a physical media device of any kind that runs via HDMI, the TV will recognize when it's paused and put pause ads on top of that, on top of your physical signal output. And that's to say nothing of the advertisements I get when I boot my PlayStation 5. Sony is literally always trying to sell me something in the store. I guess I can skip all of the boot menu, store, game, movie nonsense and just load up any multiplayer game, but as soon as I do, it's going to hit me for ads in-game for microtransactions and stuff that I should buy to enhance my gaming experience. It's not like mobile's any better. As a matter of fact, mobile is much worse. You can get a free game that forces you to watch and play through all sorts of scammy ads where if you misclick, you might accidentally install the equivalent of a virus on your phone, or you'll be forced to click through 47 different pop-ups to get to the actual game you're trying to play, because every game on the planet is trying to sell you energy, rolls, crystals, loot boxes, cosmetics, passes, direct purchases, premium experiences, loot from the game, anything that you can think of that the advertiser might have the slightest hint that you would buy is going to be on there. And this is a minor gripe compared to the others, but even if I go play PC games, Steam has ads that pop up every single time. Okay, I gotta breathe. This is getting a little bit stressful to even talk about because the entirety of the modern world is ad supported. So, what if I just went back to the past? What if I went back to where it all started, back to the analog days of home movies on VHS? Well, I could try to watch Starship Troopers on VHS and maybe only a few trailers would play at the beginning, right? Right? Help me. I've fallen and I can't get up. Oh boy, I just got back from the bank and let me tell you, they are all out of bubble gum. But today, in this ad inside of an ad, I'm here to tell you about Gamer Advantage glasses. They let you see the truth behind the world. They block harmful blue light, which reduces eye strain, helps me sleep at night. They come in prescription, your insurance will pay for it, and the Horizon glasses are 50% off all month long. Stacking 10% off with code DRIFTER will get you all the way up to 60. Before Gamer Advantage glasses, I was asleep. I didn't know what the TV was really telling me or what the billboards were really saying, but now I can see the New World Order subliminal messaging everywhere I look. I feel like I just can't escape it. Even when I look inside my own house. Even the people, they're not what I thought they were. I made the mistake the other day of taking a look at my wife.
Hey, hon, you doing all right? You're looking real sweaty.
And then the most frightening realization of all, I had to take a look at myself in the mirror to see what I really was. Gamer Advantage glasses, 10% off with code DRIFTER. Sorry about the interruption, but there was just no way that I could resist putting a meta advertisement inside of a video about meta advertisements. It's just too perfect. But going back to the past won't help you escape advertising. As my parents are finding out, broadcast TV is now costing an average of $150 to $200 per month. Imagine paying $250,000 per month to have cable TV. And on top of that, about a quarter to a third of all of the broadcast time for broadcast TV is dedicated just to advertisements. So you're paying, if you would imagine, a quarter of that, we'll call it $200 to keep the math easy, you could be paying $50 a month just so that they can afford to pump you more advertisements. And don't forget, we're not even talking about those little silent ads that pop up down in the bottom of the screen are like, hey, Young Sheldon, final season, better tune in. And it just kind of like walks and blocks all this important information to drive me absolutely crazy. But you know what? Even if I wanted to abandon paying for things and embrace a new life sailing upon the high seas, I'd still have to fight through an army of pop-ups and scammy advertisements to get to any ill-gotten goods, because I have to fight through tumultuous seas of a bay where privateers hang out and try to avoid all the ads and viruses in order to just get myself a totally legitimate downloaded copy of The Boys Season 1, and I would still be subjected to ads because even The Boys, which is a meta show that makes fun of ads like doing the Kylie Jenner Pepsi A-Train parody commercial thing, this show with that sort of self-awareness still has product placements: vehicles, cars, coats, clothing, watches, phones. They even call out medications like Lexapro by name. If you think that's not an advertisement, you're completely wrong. But hey, maybe I'm stressing out too much. I'll just go read The Boys comic books, right? It's just paper. The books don't have ads. Oh wait, the comics have advertisements in the back to advertise other boys' comics. And like, okay, maybe that's a one-off, but it's not. They all have ads in the back. Even ancient books from my grandma's area would have an ordering catalog in the back. But if I wanted to read up-to-date individual trade issues, it's even worse. DC has gotten so bad about it, every 4 to 5 pages is an advertisement in this comic I found. I think it's just a random Green Lantern comic, one of the modern ones, and it's like a quarter advertisements. Like a quarter of the weight of my comic book is advertisements, and manga isn't any better. Physical manga typically has advertisements in the beginning and at the end. So for example, if I wanted to read Gantz, I could enjoy that sort of seinen horror experience, but then near the end I would be subjected to advertisements for more Gantz related merchandise. And my God, may he have mercy on my soul if I decide to try to read manga online. All of the legitimate sites for reading Chainsaw Man require me to sign up and pay, or at least subject me to email advertising or unpaid advertising at the bottom of the page or on the sides of the page for banners to buy more products. But if I want to go to illegitimate sites like www.readchainsawmanonline.ru/totallylegit or whatever the heck it's going to be, it's mostly just going to be pop-ups for advertisements or malware. And as I mentioned before, if I buy the book is going to have ads in it. Even my radio is playing advertisements. Even if I listen to government-subsidized NPR free radio, it'll pop up with ads and sponsors. Just the other day, it popped up with an hour-long, it said, this ad-free hour has been brought to you by blah, blah, blah business. And then it played like a 5-minute ad for that business, which is not an ad-free hour. All right. I mean, I can't even educate myself anymore because news media has an advertising problem, and not the basic one you're thinking about, like not being able to do negative news stories about your sponsors. No. The one we're talking about is letting people buy stories to promote them if they are real, as if they are news, so that you don't even know you're getting hit by an ad. The disclosures are so subtle. You just think you're watching the news, but Sinclair Media has you watching some sort of political advertisement designed to prop up its agenda. I mean, just look, why else would all of these news anchors say the exact same thing?
What people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Our modern capitalist prequel to Cyberpunk 2077 doesn't allow for any privacy from intrusive advertising. Banks are using your purchasing data, as in the things you actually spent your money on, to directly deliver advertisements to you as part of their subsidiary companies, which are ad delivery networks. Insurance companies will send you advertising for recommended treatments, recommended facilities, ways to save costs with your health, but that's really just like a sort of an internal referral affiliate fee. Every single smart device that I've purchased over the last decade for my house, from fancy lighting to speakers to a massage gun to a Fitbit, are all essentially just loss leader devices. The device will pop up with advertisements during install and just intermittently throughout owning it to try to get you to sign up for the premium version, the pro version, the ultra, whatever services, whatever apps on the app on the device itself. I mean, Fitbit doesn't even make its money selling their watches. They lose money on those. They make their money on the subscription services. And the biggest example of this I can think of is about 2 years ago, I wanted to buy a treadmill so I could do home physical therapy to get my body back in shape, only to discover after the treadmill was up on the second story of the house that it required a subscription service to turn on. After spending $500 on my treadmill, I needed to spend $20 a month to turn it on. And then after doing that, it had additional purchase packages to unlock full speed for training, full elevation, and full whatever in the world. And you shouldn't be surprised to hear that I packed it up and returned it to the store. But on my way to the store, I must have driven past a dozen different billboard advertisements because, you know, even the sides of the roads need to be trying to subconsciously influence my brain to purchase things while I'm battling through the Mad Max level Dallas traffic to go return my treadmill because my treadmill has ads on it. If I just leave my house to touch grass and think maybe it's a good idea to get some mail, the mailbox is mostly going to be filled with ads. Mostly scams, low-value property, and unhealthy foods is what I get, but I still get advertisements. If you own a smart car, it might actually have advertisements on the infotainment stream right there when you boot it up. I know that BMW and Mercedes have been playing around with having your center console pop up advertisements to sell you features of your car that are locked behind a paywall, like unlock full speed, unlock heated seats, unlock power steering. It'll just pop up right there and annoy you. I could, in theory, avoid all of this by taking a bus, but even the bus will have ads on the side. Even if I walk, the benches that I walk by and the cars will have advertisements on them. Theaters are playing advertisements before the trailers even start, and the trailers are an advertisement in and of themselves. If I go to a movie theater, it's just going to play the same ads I was looking at on TV on the big screen before the real trailers start, before the trailer, and even the movie might have sponsored placements.
You bought an ad for your gin within an ad, for your movie within an ad for Samsung TV.
Yes. It felt like the right thing to do.
And I'm losing my mind here. My gym has advertisements, always trying to upsell me personal training or upgrade my membership. If I wanted to blow all of this away and go watch a real physical activity, a sporting event, like say baseball, well, the announcer would have advertisements, and there would be advertisements all along the sides of the field. Some of them are just big green screens so that they can be digitally altered. Some are gigantic screens that play God only knows what. I mean, I thought I could just go to the beach. The beach. It's water, it's sand, it's sunny outside. I can live peacefully. No, wrong. There's a gigantic advertisement barge that just has to float by the beach to try to sell me something else. At this point, I'm worried that if I go to a national park just to try to hide from society, I'll still see skyriders in the air just writing all sorts of nonsense that somebody else paid for. And there's a near 100% chance that if the stress from dealing with all of these advertisements causes me to develop possibly, theoretically, a mental disorder, that in going to the psychiatrist or doctor's office to get treatment for being overwhelmed and stressed out by advertisements, I will be subjected to advertisements for medications in the lobby, on the TV, via pamphlets, all over the place. I mean, God. Even most of my doctors are moving to concierge medicine so they can get me to sign up for subscription services, because everything on planet Earth has to be a subscription service now. And if I want to get way above planet Earth and leave it all behind, get on an airplane, get up close to the stratosphere, close to space, well, guess what? The plane is going to have advertisements on the side of the plane at every step of the check-in process, on the in-flight TV, and it's going to have advertisements via an announcement that overrides everything that you can't even skip to try to sell you credit cards. And I don't even know who buys credit cards on an airplane. Like, am I the crazy one? Who gets on an airplane and is like, yeah, now seems like a great time to buy a high interest rate credit card. Glad you told me about it. Instead of just letting me watch, I don't know, The Expendables 2 or whatever in the world is on the in-flight console. And the craziest thing about all of this is that I make a living off of digital advertisements and affiliate sales. My house, my car, my health insurance, the lunch I ate today, the clothes I'm wearing, everything about me is all bought and paid for by the very thing that I despise. My life's work is basically a monument to advertising. And I've known this for years, but I've just kept doing it because I have bills to pay, which makes me wonder if it's bad and I'm still doing it. Doesn't that make me the villain in my own story? I'm my own bad guy? Or maybe I just helped create a monster that I can't control, and in doing so have become the very thing that I hate. But I know there's only one way to know the truth. There's really only one way to figure this out. I have to use the glasses. I have to know. I have to know. And then the most frightening realization of all, I had to take a look at myself in the mirror to see what I really was.